Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
Jewelry can say many things on your wedding day. As a wedding band, it can say, "This is a forever symbol of our forever love." As a gift to your wedding party, it can say, "Thanks for standing up there with us." Blue Nile can help you find the piece that says it all and says it beautifully, with expert guidance and a wide assortment of jewelry of the highest quality at the best price. Go to BlueNile.com and experience the convenience of shopping Blue Nile, the original online jeweler since 1999. That's BlueNile.com.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Giving Flowers. I'm joined here by the king of style, the one and only with the high grade, Eric Iberg. What's up, Iberg?
Style. Yeah, man. Stoked to see you again. Stoked to get back on track with this. Stoked to fucking talk to Fujas. Tell him how dope he is today.
That's right, man. We couldn't be more blessed to have this guest on today. Join us. Made a little intro here for the people who are not familiar with this legend. Our guest today is a visionary. His wholehearted commitment on and off snow has repeatedly elevated skiing to a new plateau. His video part in session 1242 is a game changer, like checker to chess. Fact is, some even confessed it caused him to quit. His first ever pro model ski, the Fujative, ran more numbers than the Matrix. He's a vital piece to the trinity of your favorite skier's favorite movie, Idea. He popularized no-pole skiing and broke convention at the biggest stage by competing with no poles at X Games with Andy Mahre. There's a research team on retainer to this day searching for the footage. It's like a unicorn. His style's thorough. He moves with intent. I cannot overstate his impact on the culture, and on my behalf, we're privileged to have this man join us today.
Fujas.
We give flowers to Kung Fujas. Let me get him on.
Let me just say that was amazing. Every intro you do. Big up yourself on those.
Thank you. Have a lot of fun. It comes really easy just being a fan of the man. What's up?
Yeah, Fu.
What's up, boys?
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, good to see you guys.
Likewise. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for making some time for us.
You got it. How you guys living?
Awesome.
Fantastic.
You?
Oh, I'm doing great.
Did you get to just hear Phil's intro for you?
Yeah, I heard that. That was
Okay.
a lot of words of praise. I'm appreciative.
Man, he should go into writing. He does these at the beginning of the shows. If you haven't seen it, man, like he is awesome.
Absolutely. Some serious talent there. I almost think you should start a hip-hop band, too.
Yeah.
We might do it here with Ricky D.
We already have a hip-hop band.
We do. Not a thing. New age digital artist.
Yeah, Nada for short.
Love that.
I'm big. He's big, baby, fat, and I'm Ethiopian slim. And then Henrik is homie One Dread, but he cut his dread, so he's no longer in the group. I don't know. But have you seen this show before, Pep? Have you seen any of them?
I haven't. No, I just got keyed into these a couple of weeks ago, and when Phil kind of gave me the request, and then I talked to you about it, and said I'd hold off until you guys give me some flowers, I guess.
Awesome. So the point of this is Phil and I talk about skiing a lot. Like he's working on his stuff. I'm doing my dog and cat stuff, but we still stay in touch a bunch. And, you know, like we're like, well, we talk about skiing a bunch. And like, I've always wanted to do a Hall of Fame. And like, I always kind of like look at it and I'm just like, man, like how do all these guys that created the sport, like not really get the praise that I think they should? And especially because, I mean, we've lost out on a handful of friends now that didn't get to get celebrated when they were around on this earth. So we're we're like, man, let's just give fucking flowers to all these people that have done so much to bring so much to the sport, because tomorrow's not promised. And so, I don't know, you were one of the people that we had on our list where we're like, man, you've done so much for the sport, like through your skiing, through the filmmaking, through everything that you did. So we want to use this time that you're giving us, your 60 minutes, to kind of just say thank you, because it's a big deal. The reason why we can even have this, and even if it's 54 people watching, it's still people that obviously love you and love skiing because they're on Phil's thing, right? So it's a big thank you. That's the whole point of the show. And like, whether it's from me and Phil, because we've got to see what you did and have done and are doing. And then hopefully sometimes some people call in, and that makes it a little randomly more fun. So, Phil, I'm going to let you start, because I can go off the whole show. That's my only problem. I got so many things to say how dope you are, but I'm going to let Phil start. Otherwise, I'll take over.
Yeah, I have a few questions here. And one, I was wondering, because you have a unconventional path through life, and I researched a bit, did my due diligence, and saw that your parents, who were raised in a yurt in an unconventional also atmosphere. And I was wondering how your parents' tutelage shaped your intuition to follow your own path.
Yeah, they were very instrumental in kind of, I guess, like, yeah, they're very supportive in kind of anything that I chose to get into, essentially. But they let me take that choice, and they figured out how they could facilitate my passions. And my passion was certainly, I had a lot of passions growing up, mostly revolved around outdoor activities. From team sports to individual, like, base sports, to kayaking for a long time, skateboarding, and all these different things. That kind of happened after we moved into town. We had to move out of the yurts because they exactly were very unconventional and weren't exactly built to like code standards. So we ended up having to move out of them. But like those were pretty formative years. I grew up on about 300 acres in rural Southern Oregon, just kind of running around and kind of choosing my adventure from day to day. But yeah, I think they just did a great job of making me realize that like the world really is your oyster, and you got to find your passion. And after you find that passion, you've got to nurture it. And they certainly helped me do that.
Well, that makes me say this, because I didn't even have it on my list because my list was so long and I was focused on skiing. But the first thing that I have to say about you, man, is you're a great human. And like, that's obviously praise to your parents. Like all the times I got to work with you, starting from 1242 through Idea, and then just whatever, stayed in touch. Like, if I had to say one thing about you other than you made the dopest segment ever, like, second thing is you're an awesome human. And like, to see how you've navigated. So I'm going to first start that one off by bigging you up on that, because that's harder than being a good skier, I think. And also then it's a big up to your parents, because as a mom and dad, or a dad that we both are now, like, fuck, man, I hope we can be good parents to make sure people say our kid's a good kid. So nice work, bud. Stoked on being a good person, knowing you.
As a father now, that's kind of one of the most important things raising a family is like, academics are one thing, and if they end up focusing on those, great. But primarily, like, foundationally, we want them to just be good people and be understanding of other people. I think that's a huge quality that needs to be ingrained as you're growing up and in those formative years. Because I think, there are a lot of parents that don't give that guidance. They're pushing for one thing or another. And like that foundational characteristic is so incredibly valuable. And that's kind of what drives you as a person, and drives like your friendships and your relationships. And, there's so many cliches about that. Like, it's not, what it's who you know. And if you're not a good person, you're probably not going to know a lot of people, because people don't want to hang out with you.
Yeah. Or unless you have something to offer them.
Yeah.
Then you're just lost in that world. So that's another big reason why it was so important to you, and you can see it because you got all the challenges of not being like, you didn't have to be a good person, like you went through like everyone else, man. You're praised in 1 year, and I will get like to my first big thing of like praise for what you did with the sport with 1242. That segment, I would say still to this day, and Phil can chime in on, is the biggest produced segment for any ski movie. Like if one sticks out, like, I mean, we talked with Wallish last time, and like he has the biggest edit ever to make a bang, but like yours wasn't an edit. It was like shit that it was like, I mean, after that shot, Raps called everyone. He's like, I quit. I jumped off the cliff. I didn't even want to get a shot because why would I want a shot on that cliff if Fujas did that? Your two 540s each way. I don't even think, I was talking with Phil, and we couldn't even figure out who landed switch the year before, in 2002. And so to go from 2002 to no one landing switch to do these fives and then do that 180 in one segment on top of all the other shit. And I didn't even get to see these shots in real life. Like I got to shoot a good amount of your urban, I just realized when I watched that segment, and then June Mountain stuff and stuff like that. But man, I just want to say, man, I'm going to say, and I think from Phil too, it is the best segment in twin tip history, as far as like because it's all about the athlete. It's not about the production. Every single thing you did, I'm watching it right now just while I talk, and it's just fucking wicked, man. So if you had that as your only thing, but we got about 10 more things to talk to, because you're already a good person. Now we got this segment, man. But yeah, I think everyone can still watch it to this day. And I'm going to let Phil talk as a fan, because Phil, he was only what? If this was 2003, I was 23, Phil was 13. So Phil, you can talk now, but that's a good starter for that awesome segment.
No, well said, man. To chime into this, I am still watching this to this day to get motivated and just get amped up, because from song to tricks to editing, everything merges and creates this congruency of a segment that's, to me, the holy grail, like I said, of video parts. I'm just curious, like, what fueled the motivation, especially like that year, to revolutionize the game, like literally do stuff that was never done before and never even like considered possible.
We didn't even talk about pepper rolls yet. There's a pepper roll, and there's a next game second place medal in 2003 on top of this segment. So sorry to interrupt, Pep, but go on. Just more dope shit.
Oh, good. I mean, it's a hard thing to quantify, because you don't go into a year, and I know, like, if you're at a spot, particularly Phil, like you're probably not like consciously thinking about like, okay, I'm gonna, hit this rail and I'm gonna, lip 270 on and like, put my own secret sauce on this. Like you get to the spot and like you're kind of fueled by the environment that you're in and like your limitations or like lack thereof. And I think like for me into that season, I was just trying to progress how naturally I could progress. And, with that said, like I wanted to like land backwards and see what it took to, land backwards in PAL. And I, practiced a bunch and realized that it was a possibility. And I don't know. I mean, I remember the jump where I did, those both way fives, and it was just like, you know what, I should try this. Like I've got fives so dialed, like there isn't anything kind of restricting me from attempting it. And the first five I landed was first try, and then I think that was
your first try. The first one you ever did was one landed in the movie.
Yeah, and then the second one took a couple more tries. I ragdolled a few times.
At that time, did you spin both ways?
Tried them?
Yeah, it was both left and right.
And was there anything else as Go ahead.
Or the left five first?
It was funny. I was actually more comfortable with the right five, just because your head is like natural when you come around. my head was naturally facing left, which is my like dominant side for landing. You can see even when I do the left side spin that like my head is still faced in that direction. So I was just like more confident looking over that shoulder. But yeah, I think I did. I'm pretty sure I did the right 5 first and then the left.
Incredible. It brings me to a quote from Like a Lion that you said that I thought was very well put. And I'd like to hear you speak on it, so I'm going to quote you quick. Anybody put in a situation where they're almost instantly famous, your thoughts almost all get drowned out by everybody else's praises. I was wondering if you could share a personal experience of that, if it relates perhaps to the Session 1242 segment, and if it's taught you anything.
That's a good question.
To put it in perspective quick, that was Pep talking about Tanner's situation. So I think it might be interesting if it's an experience that you can relate to because you had so many people in your ear.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly like, I don't know, when I was, creating that particular segment, I certainly didn't realize like the gravity or impact that it was going to have. And then all of a sudden, like you become famous for this one thing. And like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people would like, you get kind of stuck on that path of like, okay, well now like I'm recognized as somebody who's like really pushing the sport. How do I stay in it? And then you get really like analytical about all of the details and like the replication, and then how do you progress on top of that? Where I felt like when I created that segment, it was fairly natural. Like all the tricks and all that stuff just kind of came to me at the time, where there wasn't like a ton of forethought, like, oh, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do a massive 180 and I'm going to do these 5s, like, set up a structure for that. Whereas kind of after that experience, like I kind of realized like, oh, maybe there is a structure and I can, create in that way versus like just having it come naturally. And I think I got back to that more natural style, like in idea of just like being spontaneously creative, like planning out the creativity.
You had a gnarly one though too, because I didn't even think about it really. Like 1242 was your banger year, and then all of a sudden you get injured in the fall of next year. So after you just had that one moment that got you the pro model in 2 seasons, that got you like probably sponsor re-ups, all of a sudden now you're on the sidelines for a year. Man, it had to be wild with the brain. And then on top of how much fun we had that year.
Yeah. That was a funny. Yeah, it was certainly a setback, and I felt like I certainly could have probably had some more progressive stuff, but it also, I don't know, gave me a lot of time to think about my direction and where I was headed and what I wanted to do. And that's certainly why kind of idea was created. It was like, I'm good on contests. Like I want to film and have fun and, get back to like the more creative side of the sport.
Well, let's go to your next awesomeness, because the idea is too far ahead. One of the coolest things I think in your career was your first pro model. And like, I don't know if it was ever your idea or if it's how it was pitched to you, but you had the privilege of having a $299 pro model in the fall of 2005. And so when I saw that, like, to me, it was epic because we were so, like, it was the year the digital video movies came out, 2004. Now, price point ski, that's half the price of everything. And then all of a sudden, you were able to benefit awesomely off it, and I still, to this day, I wish like I saw more super pros either owning their own shit and having a cheaper ski or just having a cheaper ski available with someone's name on it. because I haven't seen it since you. So I want to, first of all, congratulations on that. And I want to ask, do you ever know how many units you moved to your first year?
Yeah, I was right. 10,000.
How many?
Like 10,000.
Big up. I just wanted to hear that number because I was just like, man, that's so nuts to think about. Like to be able to, and so that's what I advise any youth. Get your name out there, because that meant Fujas was on 10,000 kids' feet. So awesome, man. Congratulations on that. And how many pro models did you get over life?
That's a good question. I actually don't know the answer to that. I would say 10.
I'd guess around there too. But even that alone too, man. 10 years of pro models. Awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, so much. And the graphic design. And what caused the switch from the Fujative name to the Kung Fujas?
I've always wanted to be a ninja, my whole life. And I think it was also just like a perception thing. Like the Fujative was me like kind of rebelling against like corporate America and corporate society, and that's kind of reflected in the graphics. And then the Fujas was kind of like fighting back and like, taking more ownership. So yeah, those were like the principles and like the thought that went into those skis.
All right, Phil, what do you think? Oh,
yeah, just pulling up all the skis. I had him pull up, but my computer is mad slow. But go ahead, Rick.
Well, that one was my favorite because it was see-through. I remember that one that you had when it hit the light and you could see through the whole base on the top sheet. I liked that one.
Yeah.
That one looked dope. What I was going to say is I want to take this time, if anyone's listening, whether we just talked about 1242 or anything, if they want to call in anytime, Phil can accept you and tell Fujas what you saw, because we had so much fun when people have called in over the last couple of people that we did. So if you guys want to say anything to Fujas, feel free to call and be part of the conversation. Otherwise, Phil and I can talk for a while.
Yeah, we ain't got enough time for the material that we got to cover. But please, people, we got someone asking best trick. That you got to come with something nicer, man. Come on.
Best trick. And you can't type it out, man. You got to put your face on the screen if we do this.
But yeah, maybe we even jump to ideas, since our time is limited, and ideas like a staple and just monumental game changer. And like I said in the intro, favorite skier's favorite ski movie sure is mine. What caused the switch from skiing with poles to no poles at that particular time?
I mean, there were a variety of people who were riding without poles. And when I grew up Mount Ashland, and I was always really reluctant to pick up poles. I mean, I started skiing probably around like 5 or 6, on a fairly consistent basis. I mean, most of my friends picked up poles at like 6 or 7, and I didn't want to have anything to do with them. I think I finally picked them up around like 10 years old. And from time to time, it was always a tool that we used to help you more understand how the ski is performed underneath you. Because poles like end up being a little bit of like a great learning tool, but for the most part, like you don't really need them. And I also realized that you had more ability or like creativity and style when you didn't have a tool in your hand. And that was kind of pushed by, I mean, Pollard would ride without poles from time to time, and so did Andy and Griffin Cummings, and what was his name? Pete
Mithofer.
Yeah, Mithofer. And one of Eric's buddies, who he used to ride with, who just kind of dropped off the face of the earth. I think his name was Pete as well. But I think those guys were some of the inspiration.
No, that was the Pete. There's 2 Petes. They both have a start with an M. There's the Oakley Pete from Mammoth, And then there's Pete Midhofer that I made a stereotype with that had no poles in it the whole time.
Yeah.
That's the guy that disappeared.
Yeah. So I started skiing without poles. I realized you have so much more ability for like creativity, and they don't get in your way. And I don't know. I just love the feeling. So yeah, that was the no poles era.
Yeah, it was a fun
it
one.
lasted pretty short. Hey, what caused you to put him back on? Was it like riding more steep terrain and just going into gnarlier zones?
Yeah, I think there's certainly that component. I don't know. I think I was just kind of like transitioning back into like more of a I had more like big mountain objectives on my mind, I guess. And, after riding a lot with poles, like get poles back, and you also realize like if you can control poles, that adds like another element of complexity. So there's two sides. Like, can you do something awesome with poles in your hand that looks really nice and clean, and there's like that extra complexity component, or there's like riding without poles, everything simplified. I guess those are the two sides.
So I didn't have ski dreams. Maybe from 2000 on, previous, I could do as many daffies as I wanted, like land uphill, all the dope shit, But making idea, it was the first time I had ski dreams again, and my dreams were about switch turning with no poles and then grabbing snow and then looking at my hand while I was going backwards and just being stoked. And I'll remember that because, when you ski dream a lot and then you just stop, it's almost like when you quit smoking weed and then you start dreaming. It's like vice versa. You don't have ski dreams, then the fucking ski dream came back. So that was pretty wicked to think about, because no movie ever made me think I could like cork and flip and do any trick, and I've seen it all, but a switch turn with no poles, man, made me dream. It was epic.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
Jewelry can say many things on your wedding day. As a wedding band, it can say, "This is a forever symbol of our forever love." As a gift to your wedding party, it can say, "Thanks for standing up there with us." Blue Nile can help you find the piece that says it all and says it beautifully, with expert guidance and a wide assortment of jewelry of the highest quality at the best price. Go to BlueNile.com and experience the convenience of shopping Blue Nile, the original online jeweler since 1999. That's BlueNile.com.
Nice. I think Greta just asked, like, what were your all first ski segments? I think my first ski segment was Scandalous.
Yeah, okay. He wouldn't let me put that online. Otherwise, we would have posted the segment. I don't have a VHS anymore for the purple tape.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. That was with Dave Levin. He was living in Mammoth, and we became friends. We wanted to put a movie together, and those were wild times.
So when you were Scandalous, that's 2001. Was it the spring of Scandalous when you got like seen by Oakley and K2, and then you got picked up by both of them in that time?
Yeah, exactly. I got picked up by Oakley prior to that. I'd like kind of snuck my way into Parkosaurus, or the Freeze magazine event down in Southern California. And
that's still when you had the vocal with the yellow V on it or whatever?
Yeah.
Was that the last? Yeah.
Yep. And Tanner was like, "Oh, you should come up." It was like I was right before. I guess it was piggybacking my like spring break in my last year of high school. Like, "Oh, you should just come up to Mammoth for spring break." And during that time, Oakley was doing a shoot up there with JP and Full and that crew. And yeah, just riding the park. And I think Chris O'Connell was like, "Hey, Greg, like you should ask it if he wants to shoot some." I shot some, and like by the end of the day, Greg was like, "Hey, we'd really like to, get you on board, and what would you think about that?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, are you kidding me? I got."
So this is when you're a mogul skier still in Steamboat.
What's that?
You got this deal when you were still a mogul skier.
Yeah.
To be a freestyle skier or whatever you want to call it. That's awesome, man. That alone too is cool. So what do you do? Do you go back and then quit right away?
I mean, that senior year of high school, like I was competitively skiing moguls, but I was kind of burnt out on it. And I was kind of using every, like, go ride the park and, yeah, like, make some twin tips and, yeah, try to, like, I don't know, figure out some tricks. And, so yeah, pretty much right after that, I was like, all right, well, I've kind of solidified my plan for the next year. I'm going to take at least a year off and go move to Mammoth and see where it takes me.
Yeah, well, nice decision there. Took you to hang out with Levin for 2 straight seasons. Fuck yeah, Levin. I hope you're watching. I doubt you are.
Another ski nerd trick to talk about. I think maybe Mike Nick or Yannick V or both were there at Sunday River. Maybe you might correct me if I'm wrong, but for this right side 180 and just ginormous to flat, powerful, just thorough style. Can you talk about that segment and that trick in Happy Days, that is?
Sure. Yeah, we were out there for a shoot, and they had set up some rails and some other stuff in their park, and I like wasn't really jiving with it. And we found this feature, and I was like, "Oh, this is rad. This could like kind of showcase kind of the next movement," because at that time there were a lot of like kind of ride on rails, and we were, I don't know, I was kind of influenced by skate, and skate you'll like pop off the tails. And initially I really wanted it shot like from behind so you could see like the ollie up and over the rail. But yeah, I don't know, spotted that and was like, oh, this feature is pretty epic, and let's shoot it and see what happens. And did that one, and the landing was super flat. Decided that was good enough for me.
Well, it's nice you landed at your first try. That would have been a bummer if it was super flat and you crashed and had to do it a second time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, before you spoke of it, I was thinking that shit is so skateboard influenced. It's no wonder that you were influenced by skate so much. We're going to keep going on the ski nerd shit because that's what I am. And go to the pep roll, man.
Yeah, we've been talking about this all morning.
Trick that you invented and coined. Can you talk how you managed to figure this one out?
Honestly, it was pretty like haphazard. Everybody was doing like switch rodeos at that time, and that was actually my attempt at a switch rodeo. And it was totally kind of it was on accident. And then I just went with it. It was like, people are just like, what the hell was that? And how did you land that? And I was like, I don't know, but I'll do it again.
When's the last time you've done one?
I think it was, it's probably been like 4 years, but I'll do it again. It's a fun trick.
Dude, it's so wicked. Like when we just watched it on repeat this morning, because the gnarliest thing about this trick is when people can stop, rewind in slow motion for 20 years and no one else does it. Because I was like, Phil, who else does this rotation? He's like, I don't know. And I tried to go through it, so no one even, it would stick out. but I don't know. Maybe you know of someone that does it, but I've never seen it.
I feel like I've seen Henrik do.
I thought so too. That's why I asked Phil, because it would stick out in our brains. I'm sure Henrik will correct us if we're wrong, and he probably copied you
Henrik
off
did
it.
it all. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, Henrik does study you.
The way that this one was done previously that I shown to 7, I haven't seen anybody do it like that. This one to 9 too is ridiculous.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I think that's pretty much the dopest thing when people can't really copy. And if we're even having a hard time thinking of one person, like your whole point, you know, like every person had that Switch Rodeo 7 tail that year in the movie, right? And so it's just like funny, like who remember it. The only person that's remembered off it is Tanner winning every event in 2001 with the Switch Radio 7. You know, but that's it. Other than that, everyone else just did it. Boyd's was sick. Fucking everyone's was sick. But yeah, big up yourself on fucking creating shit, not following.
So much and keeping a relevancy and also upgrading your repertoire for 2 decades. And one thing, you were invited at the first or maybe second Rail Ski Backcountry, and have some clips in there that to this day I've never seen anything like it. A 180 to start the show is a 180 into a line, and then switch carve into a switch cliff drop. That must have been on your mind for a while, I feel like, to attempt this type of trick. So can you talk about this one?
Yeah. Oh, actually, that was I got that idea essentially from Andy. Andy had done like he did switch in 180 off a cliff. I don't remember which movie it was in.
Is that Poor Boy? I don't know. He did a switch in and forward on our sideways pillows and idea, but he had a bigger one in the year before in Poor Boy's movie, I think, from Straight On.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so I did have this one on my mind for a little while, and I just wanted to find the place for it to happen. And we were up in BC, and you can see that it's like fairly mediocre conditions, like fairly scoured, but that actually worked in my favor because you can control yourself really well. And yeah, it was something I thought about, and then like the right opportunity presented itself. So I go.
Yeah, I didn't even see that before this morning, Fujas. That was not normal. Like, I didn't realize, because at that time I just thought, did you place even at that time? I know Sammy won, but
no, that was a weird event because they were like, oh, we don't want ski lines, we just want tricks, and then like a lot of people put in some ski lines. I was just like working on hitting jumps. But yeah, that was fun. I don't think I placed.
Motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Well, that line is dope as fuck.
Yeah, and also this forward 1080, was that the first time you were doing a forward 10 like that with a reverse tail?
Yeah, that was my first 10, I think, ever. Well, not. I guess I can't say that. I did some like pencil 10s and stuff like that, but yeah, that was the first tail 10.
Your first 10 ever was in 2013?
I mean, in a movie, for sure.
Awesome. That's a big thing, too, if you can rotate under 10 fucking for a decade of a career.
Yeah.
I think Dash Long's the only one that can outdo you. He's at 540 for fucking, or 720 for about 20 years.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Yeah.
What about your snowboarding background? When did you start snowboarding? Because an idea, you guys made a snowboard segment, and it's pretty damn cool. Like much better than I could ever snowboard. When did you start picking up the snowboard?
I started snowboarding when I was pretty young. I was probably like 10 or 11, and snowboarding was just kind of starting at that time. And I had some friends, and we'd like, strap our ski boots into the bindings and go like hard boot snowboarding every once in a while. And then when I was like either 12 or 13, completely switched over to snowboarding for a season. But then just realized like I just loved I loved the dynamics of skiing a bit more. Like I don't know. I just decided I'd go back and then I'd snowboard from time to time here and there. And let's see, one summer I was dating a snowboarder, and we were down in New Zealand, and I pretty much like stopped skiing for a summertime session at snow park and was just snowboarding. I was just so psyched on the feeling of it. I hadn't really hit any big jumps, all the big jumps in the park, and dialing in 5s and 7s, and I don't know, just having a lot of fun. So yeah, I've like kind of dabbled in snowboarding over the years and really enjoy the contrast between the two sports. It's the same medium, but like totally different feel.
And Iberg, a question for you: what was the thought process behind making it a full segment or like a short interlude in a movie?
Well, so it was broken up into Oregon, Washington, and Utah. And I guess it was because Pep and Andy were from, or Pep and Eric were from Oregon, but Pep lived in Utah. Andy was from Washington. So we had 3 segments, and then we needed like 3 interlude segments. So we had a snowboarding one. We had, what were the other 2? Or one other one between, it was something sporadic because it was snowboarding.
Oh, you guys driving some go-karts in the mud.
No, that's all Alaska. Okay, Alaska got an interlude segment. So Alaska and snowboarding were the 2 interludes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was the whole point of breaking that up.
Yeah, I think for the inclusion of it, it was like we all enjoyed snowboarding, and we thought it would be fun to like, I don't know, shoot a couple days and see what happened, and if something kind of fun came out of it, then we'd include it in the movie.
And we did it. I mean, even Andy got that awesome shot with the mini board laying on the ground doing a method in the cloud. So everyone got shots. And we had a dope ass song, if I remember. It was like some weird synthesizer, and even the song was fun. So just mix it up, made fun. I want to know, Pep, just because we're on tricks and Phil likes this shit. What's the gnarliest urban feature you ever did? Like that had consequences for you, or you thought was the craziest one on all the shit you've ever done? You don't have one that sticks out in your head that you're like, fuck that feature?
No, I mean, like my urban skiing was pretty limited.
That must have been pretty gnarly.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's nice call, Phil.
Yeah, way to bring that memory back. I totally forgot about that. I did that on Seth Pistols, which was
true.
I forgot too. But that's why I even asked the question, because I filmed pretty much all your urban in Utah. So that was maybe the majority of your career. But at the same time, you're with a guy who did maybe 1 million urbans. So you were still doing everything just like this. You're beside what, Anthony doing this? And JP?
Yeah.
So you have Anthony being like, fuck yeah, guys, you want to lose a tooth? And you're like, I got this.
Dude, I don't know if it was Anthony or JP, but one of them tried to hit it switch.
Or two on, maybe?
Super gnar.
Really? Jesus.
And you guys had like a carpet on the roof, if I remember, or something that would grip your skis before drop-in. And then you'd it was fucked up, the whole thing. So nice call, man. That is your gnarliest thing, because someone crashed hard on it.
Yeah, I mean, I crashed hard on it, but I think Anthony crashed harder. For sure.
Hey, if Travis Erdman is watching, you've texted me, you've written a lot on the bottom, just call in, man. Ask that question. I don't know what it means at all. Yeah, but I'd love to see your face.
one more clip before we get maybe. It seems like Greta's on and she's like got some good questions. I just want to jump into
Greta, you should just call in, and then you can ask him. That's why we're doing this. You here?
This clip is absolute madness. Just the top tier bar of backcountry skiing to me. Gnarly, fast, precise. What's going through your mind before you hit that? Like,
I better get to these trees. Yeah, because it was a deep day. Tanner had brought me out to that spot. I'd just driven up from Utah the night before. I got in, I think, at like 2 a.m. or something. Maybe got to bed by 3. We were up at like 5:30 to go to this spot because the conditions were pretty good, but kind of sketchy. It had snowed a lot, so all the alpine was kind of off limits. But he had this little zone picked out, and hit the line that he rode was super gnarly as well. It's over to the left of Looker's left of where this one is. And we were scoping out this zone, and I saw that line, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I've been looking at that line, and like, you just gotta point it." I'm like, "Yeah, that's the deal." And I can remember like the whole setup, like waiting for him to ride his line. He rode his line and nailed it. See Jakob Wester there, and like his film crew, they were just all like, up in arms, like excited about the line that he had just skied. And so of course, like my nerves were going, and I was just, looking from the top. It's a little bit convoluted, and you can't exactly see where you need to go besides the takeoff. And the takeoff is a bit flat. I was like, oh, I'm a little nervous. Like, am I going to get hung up like right at the end? So it was just all about like, harnessing as much speed as possible and trying to like pump where you can. And, I don't know, almost like stay out of the deep snow as much as possible.
Moo.
Yeah, what up, Greta?
Moo is here.
Hey, you guys. Oh my gosh, I was so nervous. This is crazy. I'm like blushing.
You're like an internet girl, though. This is normal.
I was like, if internet girl doesn't log in, this is going to be bad. GoPro hot mom right here. But I have a serious question. I wrote it in the comments, but I want to know, Pep, because I'm big Cotton Canyon. Love snowboarding. Lots of my friends are snowboarders. My brother's a snowboarder. I try to snowboard, but I'm just not that good at it. I need to put more time into it. But what is your stance on skiing only at Alta?
She's coming and swinging. This isn't flowers. This is like politics. It's awesome.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, I like snowboarding as well, and I have friends who are snowboarders, and it's pretty lame that they can't ride up the lifts. I do not like that aspect at all. I don't like the exclusivity of it. There are plenty of arguments that you could take that Alta is not set up for snowboarders because of there's so many traverses, and it would create like a lot of jam up. Like there are like set lines that you kind of have to take, and it's already like super jammed up in those spots.
Can we pick on Deer Valley, man? The corduroy there is dope. Like, no one ever hates on Deer Valley. Like, it's always Alta. Fuck, Deer Valley. They have a Regency. You can do yoga, hot chocolate on the hill. That's what's bullshit.
I agree.
That's what we're doing
Deer
now.
Valley.
Fuck Deer Valley.
And they're both on national forest. I mean, I think it's so silly. What do we have to do? I know a lot of the young skiers, Pep, look up to you, and they're like still holding the flame of like, oh yeah, let's keep this place skiing only. And it's just like, it's so weird. It's like they don't get it. And it's like, let's open this to everyone. Number one, it's not even our land. It's Utes land, right? It's indigenous land. And we took it. And now we're saying, no, skiing's white people only. Just, yeah. I don't know.
You know what Pep can do? Pep can make a snowboard out of algae for them. That's what he can do, and it's fucking awesome.
But let us know. Yeah, let me know what I can do. If there's like emails, if I'm like, just let's get this going because I mean, It's crazy. It's 2022.
I mean, you can certainly like get together petitions and all of that. Like they've gone to court, I think 3 or 4 times and have won every single time.
But I think we got to get like an Elta like skier like crew to say, hey, let's change this.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. I haven't seen that push yet.
Yeah, true. I think it's a hard line because there are so many skiers that, myself included, like I love skiing Alta. It's really awesome for my family. Like it just like has the layout that works for like raising kids and but I think it's like the double-edged sword. A lot of skiers, particularly those who are professional or aspiring professionals, like they don't necessarily want to burn the bridge. And like
what's the guy Elf Engen from Norway? He's like started the skiing up there or something.
You're Norwegian.
I know. That's what I'm like.
Yeah.
I think it was this like old school thought that came in. And I think, Pep, you have a voice. And I think if you said, hey, let's start snowboarding here too, I think it would change a lot. I mean, it's just crazy to me. It's just crazy.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
That's why I stayed in Big. Because, Brighton and Solitude, everybody's welcome. You can snow bike, you can snowboard, you can ski, whatever sport you want to do.
Where are you right now?
Minnesota!
You're not even there. Utah represent. Fujas is there. He cares about the people. It's like the president going to another country when bad times are bad. There's you in Minnesota. All snowboarders in Utah. They can't leave Utah. I'm just making fun. I'm in Minnesota. I'm not trying to get snowboarders to go anywhere. They got a million places. Give thanks for the privilege of sliding.
I've got one more Utah question. Like, because back in the day, I remember before I moved to Utah, there was tons of like backcountry terrain. Ski touring wasn't as big. There's a lot of blank canvases out there, lots of snow, and now it's so much harder to find that kind of terrain, like that backcountry stuff. Like, do you think ski movies are kind of changing where it's okay to have some like tracks and stuff? It doesn't really matter as long as people are getting out there. Like, how do you go out and do your tricks in the backcountry, but like live in Utah where there's 700,000 people that just moved there last year and still like find free space?
Oh, I mean, there's so many spots that you can get away from people, and such. It's wild. It's pretty tight range, but like you go off the beaten path and your spots. Like there's always places to go. I mean, personally, I'm not all that concerned with tracks. I don't think. I think people pay so much pay so much attention to like, oh, this has to be clean. Put on this like facade of what it actually is, and a lot of times, like after your first hit, like that's when there's an in run for your jump. Like it's nice and clean, and you can actually do something like you have more appreciation, like do a trick off whatever it is. So yeah, I'm not all that concerned. I mean, in some respects, it's like it's gnarlier if there are tracks.
Totally. Yeah. That's cool. That's what I wanted to hear. I think so too. I think there's space for everyone, and that's why I just brought the Elta thing up, because I think everyone should be able to try it. And I love Elta too. And honestly, I married a snowboarder, so that's why like a lot of my best friends are snowboarders. So I just like there was no reason for me to leave, and I don't know.
You wouldn't be a ride or die if you went to Elta without him.
I would not.
No, bad luck.
Yeah. One last question though. I got the chance to work with the University of Utah freeride team last year, which was awesome, and it was both ski and snowboard. Over 120 participants, and they're just so amazing. Like I just love this new generation coming up, and they really look up to like our era of skiing. I would say Pep and Eric in my era. Phil, you're a little later, but you're still there. And they loved how like creative it was and how like unique and kind of free. How they just want to know, like, should they just keep sticking with it, what they want to do, like make their films, do the things, and just it'll work out? Because they don't want to do the competition, the Olympics and whatnot. They don't want to do that. They want to do the era where it was about fun, making things up, that sort of thing. Any advice for them?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think follow your path. If you have a creative idea of like how to present what you're trying to display to the world, and like lots of companies out there that need their help, essentially. Like they need they need content creators. They need people who are out there every day pushing the sport whatever direction. Like if it's the direction of going out and being creative in whatever environment they're in, like there's certainly an app for that. And I would say just like get yourself out there, get out there and meet people, introduce yourself to brands, and
Awesome. Yeah, I think they just have to stick with it. The passion's there. Everything else follows. I agree. Well, thank you guys. I'll go off so you can ask someone else the questions, but thank you.
Yeah, Moo.
Thanks, Greta.
Now I
Looking
can go
forward to
like
giving you
go
your
die.
flowers.
Go die. Go enjoy some water skiing or something.
right.
Of course. Yes. It's pretty nice here. But both. It's good to have both. Lake and for me, I just need to be by water. Water and snow or water. I need it.
Yeah, it is awesome.
Yeah.
Good deal.
All right,
Good
guys.
to see you,
Thanks
Greta.
for this. This is awesome.
Thanks, Greta.
Peace.
Pep, would you have one more person's question? Time for one more person's question?
Yeah, absolutely. I might
Cool.
probably extend this for another 10, 15 too.
Yes.
Let's see if he jumps on, but I got Crazy Carl on the chat.
Hell yeah.
Hopefully he accepts this. Maybe he just got it on his phone on the side. But Carl, if you hear this, we're trying to get you on.
Crazy Carl. There he is.
Yes, sir.
Boom.
What up? Thanks for the
Yes,
invite,
sir,
man.
Carl.
Love hearing all the history and just kind of getting into Pep's brain back in the heyday, man.
Hell yeah.
I'm
Well,
here,
great that you call in, man.
following my idea inspirations. Got the editing studio.
Ooh.
Native Earth Productions, Rap Ski 2 coming together.
Hell yeah.
Nah. Rap.
Yeah,
Good luck, man. You got something for Pep, Carl?
Go ahead.
No, you go, man. You got a question for the man here?
Yeah, I just want to know how good it felt capping that 5 blunt at the hood parking lot step down.
Oh, it was unreal. That was definitely one of the best feelings I've ever had in skiing. Like was able to hold it all the way to the end. I just like learned that trick. I think like a couple of weeks prior up in Park City when we were shooting for the film as well. But yeah, that was the best feeling ever for sure. Like landing at the bottom of the tranny, it's like wow, that just happened.
Perfectly. We'll just watch it. Phil is great on the technical element of this show.
That was funny. You just I almost got the same amount of adrenaline just like kind of revisiting that whole experience in my mind.
You want to know a fun thing too? In 2012, Henrik did the same location and he did the double backflip tail kind of like you. And then you won Trick of the Year in 2007 and then he won a Trick of the Year just by adding a flip. But he just copied your shit, added a flip, held the grab the whole time. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
So,
he's a good one-upsmanshipper.
well, he's a studier, man. It's like if you go to school, you want to be better than your professor and not be a professor, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he is a scientist.
What skis were on that clip? Was that the Fujas?
No, that's for the Hellbent.
That's Hellbent work.
Yeah, good one, Carl. That definitely is one of the deserving of a best trick of the year, and still to this day, like going that big, cap and blunt, and just like flawless in and out is just unreal, man. And Henrik did Iberg was there on that session, and Henrik did shout you out. Maybe not personally in real life, but he did say that maybe I'm gonna just do the pep roll. But I don't think he said he was gonna do it twice. That was a surprise for all of us.
Hooray! Yeah, you guys are awesome. You too, Carl, man. Now that you're on the phone, just big up yourself and all that you do. I've never talked to you in life, but I watch all your shit, man. It's wicked.
Yeah, and we need to play some Kings again one of these days.
What's that?
We need to play some Kings again one of these days. That ping pong game we were playing at T's house back in
Yeah, we do. I forgot. That game was awesome. I forgot all about this game. All right. I'm going to get a ping pong table at Walmart when the family gets back. Teach them Kings.
Yeah, you're a tough one to beat with those long arms and those long legs, man, taking over the whole table and around.
Yeah, you can jump over the table if someone goes for the opposite corner on your run around. It's good to go. Ping pong, man. Fujas, we bought lots of ping pong tables that year. I think we bought 3 total.
Pep, I got a K2 question for you. You keep a bunch of your old skis around. You have an old pair of Hellbents and like a bunch of your pro model stuff. You just keep that in your Dodge. Are you a little bit of a pack rat when it comes to stuff like that, or?
I am, yeah. My wife's chagrin a bit. I have one pro model from every year, and I did have a little bit of foresight, and I kept some prototype Hellbents and the rockered AK Maiden. The AK Maiden, you rockered that, and that was like the precursor to the Hellbent, and that's like one of the sickest graphics ever.
Those belong in a museum, man.
Yeah, I've got the original Hellbent as well. Variety of a pretty wide variety. I think when I moved houses probably 5 years ago, I cleaned it out and I had like 70 pairs of skis. That was pretty ridiculous. I've pared it down quite a bit. But yeah, I've got a pretty good archive.
I still got your 165 first year's autograph by you unmounted, meaning to be shipped in my garage for 3 years. They're sitting right by my car. But I got those are fresh in the wrappers still, man.
Nice.
I probably could sell them on eBay, but it's probably doper if your kid gets to ski on it when they're a little bigger.
Yeah, all of my wrappers have like disintegrated pretty much.
That ski was sick. Did Shmeez do that, Art?
Yeah. Yeah, Shmeez actually did our artwork this year for Wonder Alpine.
He's on fire, man. And he's got a J ski.
Yeah.
Big up Shmeez. Wisconsin represent. Well, shit. Well, do you have anything else, Carl? Because we have limited time. We got a couple of things we still got to check off. But if you got more shit or anything you want to say.
Just another shout out to Shmeez, who did our graphic last year.
Brat boss.
Hey. Super hyped on that. Part 2 on the K2 question. You got a pair of Hellbents that I could borrow for a couple days at some point this winter?
I might. I think most of mine are unmounted still, so it would be tough to get those mounted up. But at the same time,
put like holes in them either.
They need to get speed, and you're definitely a guy that I would respect having some of those.
Thanks, bro.
No doubt.
Well, good catch.
Thanks for joining us, Carl.
Keep it up, Casabon. Love this series, dude. Been trying to tune in every chance I can.
Wicked.
Oh, it's such a pleasure, man. Thanks for chiming in, and mad love on what you're doing out there, dude. Such an inspiration.
Appreciate it. One step at a time.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
And this is a little under wraps, but just want to throw it out there. I want to get an AK ski event going, and I want to call it the AK sessions. It'd be kind of Kimmo sessions focused style, just clips dropped every day, recap edits, and try to do some not live from the field, but close to live from the field and just get more people with Casabon style, Pep style, just bringing tricks into the mountains and start up an AK session sort of deal. Eventually figure out how to get branding to, make it so the athletes can get free heli time, and we'll see. I got a couple irons in the fire, so both you guys in the loop if it ever comes together.
Fuck yeah, sounds like a rad vision.
Yeah, man, make it happen.
Bitches. Would love it.
That's funny. I totally, this is totally by coincidence, but I'm wearing one of the old Nimbus shirts.
Hell yeah, you are.
Yes.
I've never even seen that one.
I love it. We need some Nimbus reruns on the t-shirt, and I would buy one of those in a
No doubt. Well, we should host a showing sometime. I'll bug Pollard about that.
All right, see you guys.
All right, man.
peace
Have a
out,
good day.
brother.
So let's continue on Nimbus now because time's almost limited. So another big thing, Fujas, is pretty much your big part that you played was like you got so involved in movies after Idea, and then being involved in Nimbus and like just kind of putting your vision on the industry out there. And so I just want to big up you on that, because when you don't take the easy way out, because you could have easily went with any production company and then got fed or whatever, but I'm sure you invested a good amount of time and money in the Nimbus years. So that's a big deal, man, because that's what no one really gets and understands when athletes make movies. Like, I mean, I can only imagine how much money Eric put into making movies in life. I'm going to guess you're somewhere not close, but it doesn't have to be close. That's his life. But big up yourself on that, man, because it was a pleasure to watch all the Nimbus movies. I was so stoked you guys kept making movies. And then even now, like, you get to work with Sturbans, and Sturban made team movies forever. So you got two guys that make content. Is that Sturbanator X?
Yeah, there's Sturbans right over there.
Hell yeah.
Damn.
We're going to be talking to him one day, too.
Nice.
So that's what I'm saying.
Likewise. I mean, you guys know the game pretty well, and like you've made tons of movies. It's not an easy thing to do. So,
No.
yeah.
And to be an athlete and do it is pretty epic. And especially in a time period where you didn't have to make a sponsor me video every year. It was more of a commitment to show your art. Now people make a movie on themselves for the last 10 years, and it's like the most expensive sponsor me movies I ever fucking watched. And I'm like, can I see a movie with some more people, please? But that's just a fan over here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, it's pretty awesome to watch what you guys have done and did.
Thank you.
Wicked, man. Want to be mindful of your time, Pep. So we're going to let you go, but I just want to give you the opportunity to give some flowers if you'd like to. Anybody you'd like to give some flowers to before we bring this to an end?
Wow. Man, there are a lot of people to give flowers to. You guys in particular, yeah, thanks for having me on. Eric, thanks for your contribution to the sport, being really creative in a time that seemed very stagnant. I think that was huge part. And just
Thanks,
rallying the troops, dude. You were seriously good at getting people hyped. You're like the ultimate hype man.
Still working on it, buddy. That's why I got Phil to have a show on his Instagram page.
Yeah, that's sick. And thank you, Phil. Like, you're a true inspiration to myself and to, I'm sure, the whole community at large. You've had a great presence. And yeah, it's always fun to watch you get creative because you've got a creative mind like no other. But yeah, God, through the years, like, love to give some flowers to Johnny D. I mean, a lot of the other guys who are making movies. I don't know, Tanner, Henrik, like, I don't know, the list could go on for forever, I think, but I appreciate what you're doing here, and we'll certainly be tuning in to watch more.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks for talking with us and stuff,
Yeah,
because
cheers.
if we can do this with all the, like, we made a list of how many people we can talk to and then like what their contributions are to the sport. It's so wicked because it's just like there's no other outlets. And I'm like, man, no one's giving anyone pedestals anymore to tell their story, or not only tell their story, but just like be thankful, because so many things wouldn't happen without you being involved in the sport, or Falou or Wallace or whoever we talk with. And so it's, I don't know, I think it's a super big deal that, like, I don't know, we congratulate you, we celebrate you, we thank you. And that's it, man. That's the whole point of the last hour. So thanks for being on here.
You're welcome.
Yeah, man.
Cheers, guys. Enjoy yourselves.
And congrats. We haven't touched on it, but congrats on Wonder and starting an enterprise of your own with Sturbans. You guys are a real inspiration for it. And just plug your maybe social media and where people can find you before you leave, please.
Yeah, I mean, it's all of my socials, pretty simple. Pep Fujas Instagram, Facebook. Go to wonderalpine.com and check out what we're doing and bringing bio-based materials to the ski world and beyond.
Yep, another awesome thing we didn't even get to talk about. But
yeah,
keep
maybe
going,
some other
man.
time.
Hell yeah.
True. All the best, brother.
Yeah, take care.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
And
Peace.
See ya.
Fuck yeah, that was a good one. That was a really good one.
Ooh.
This is good. Now we got to do this every weekend. So we're back. We just had to take a little summer break, but yeah. So we're gonna be back next week, 12:30. Thank you, Fujas. Do we have a confirmation next week?
We don't have full confirmation, but the guest we are presenting next week is going to blow you off. He's the first of his kind to be on the show. So tune in, and otherwise we're going to have someone awesome. Everybody's been just iconic that's been on, and that's what we try to celebrate, is those people that have gave skiing flowers, and so we want to give them back.
Yeah, man. So give thanks to all the people that have been on the show, all the people we want. And that's, yeah, it's just the most important thing. You know, we just got to be thankful from where we came from. And if you know where we came from as well, maybe someone learned something today. And then you kind of know where you're going a little more. So we all stoked, man. And we get to talk to cool people every week. So thanks, Greta, for calling in. Thanks, Crazy Carl, for calling in. That's the goal. We'll have more people call in throughout the next shows. We'll get a bunch of people and go from there.
Well said, man. Thank you, Rick.
Yeah, man. Thanks to everyone tuning in.
Us.
Peace.
Peace.